Hello and welcome to the MHG podcast. As usual, life can be a little bit miserable, life can be a little bit dark, so we're here to bring you a little bit of light, a little bit of joy. I'm Bradley. I think I got this the right order this time. Joined once again by the stupendous Stu. How you doing, Stu?
Not bad. Don't get too many puns on my name in this environment. So yeah, no, that's fine. I can live with it.
Yes, go for it. That's what you could get people to call you around you now. You're going to refer to me now as stupendous.
Yeah.
Or the stupendous Stu, like some kind of circus act.
Yeah, like, do you remember, you might not remember, Stewpot Stewart? He was like a DJ and TV personality.
Name rings a bell, but I can't picture.
Yeah. He did, oh no, because we're going to get into like old man, oh God, what was his name territory, right? So let's not bother. But yeah, look him up, Stewpot Stewart. He used to go, oh, I could crush a grape. I could jump off a doll's house. That was his shtick.
Right. What gets me, right, so very, very quickly, right, is that kind of how he spoke, or is that you putting a bit on it?
I think that was pretty much how he spoke, although we're talking 40 years ago, so...
But we are talking pretty camp.
Yeah, a bit, yeah.
Right. But we have issues now where, where we can't have people who are, let's say, quote unquote, as they like to say, different on TV, because that's bad for the kids. Oh, dear.
There's no logic to it.
No, there really isn't. So, yeah, weird. Just as an aside, we spoke a little bit about this off air, but obviously I was like, don't want to waste this on Stu. Ugh, don't want to just waste talking to him.
God, no.
No, I want to talk to all of you. That's what I want to do. Piercings, Stu. Or more, in fact, things you didn't do when you was younger that you want to do now. I did wonder if this was midlife crisis. I can't afford a Ferrari. So I thought, maybe it's like I'm in my 40s, it's a midlife crisis. And I thought about it a bit more and I thought, do you know what? No, I think this is just a fear thing and a not knowing who I was thing. So back end of last year, I got my septum pierced because I always wanted to get something, like something I wanted to get done but never got done. And then a couple of weeks ago, I got both my ears pierced purely because I'm going to stretch them. I'm not going to go ridiculous levels. Like I'm going to maybe like an inch, so there's an inch hole in my lobes, so I could put either a disc in there or have them like with a tube in there. Going to get my eyebrow done, and then I want to get like the top of my ears pierced as well, and just various bits of metal in my face. And I was thinking about it, going, why am I all of a sudden wanting to do this now? And it's because I was scared when I was younger. I was always worried about what people might think of me. I was bullied badly as a kid, as I spoke about before. So I was worried, like, if I get a piercing, are people going to look at me? Are they going to judge me? Are they going to like me? Etc., etc. All that sort of stuff. And then you get to an age where you don't think it matters as much, but you're like, oh, but what about jobs? What if I can't do this job because people see piercings that I might have? So I just never got it done. And then I discovered, Brad's a bit ADHD and a bit, let's say less, not a bit. Brad's ADHD and autistic. That's explained a hell of a lot. So blind as well, can't go to work, so I haven't got to worry about jobs or anything like that. Let's start getting pierced. I tell you, it's addictive. It's addictive because I just want piercings now. And yeah. You jokingly said about a face tattoo. I'm not getting a face tattoo, Stu. I'm not getting a face tattoo. That's not for me. But it reminded me of, do you know the biggest argument? Do you know whenever someone gets a tattoo and someone goes, oh, you'll regret that when you're older, and you're like, hey, you look so bad. And I'm thinking, like, I love the response, like, it's just, yeah, but I'm going to look bad when I'm 80. Like, my skin's going to be all sagging. I'm nearly dead. And, like, a face tattoo is going to be the least of my worries. I mean, I'm thinking, say now, like with my piercings, if I live to 80, I'll be lucky. I'm not the healthiest of people, so screw it, Stu. Screw it. Do what you want with your body.
I think
is what we should say.
It is. I think that's very good advice. Obviously not like,
But
drink,
don't
drugs,
you men
food.
ever become women, right? That's where we draw the limit. Or if you're a woman, you can't get rid of the baby you don't want when it's still not even a baby. You can't do that. Right, okay, but what I'm saying is piercing's fine, tattoo's fine. Okay, the rest of it...
But, I'm really glad you're here to tell us this. That's very important. We need to make sure there's no bodily autonomy. There has to be, an authority telling us what we can do, definitely. And secondly, I think you're way too quick to dismiss the tattoo thing on the face. I think what you could do, because you've got a great head of hair, is you could shave your head and you could do a tattoo of my face on the top of your head. And then you could grow your hair back, and then, whenever you're shaving your head, or, God forbid when you die and they shave your head, there my face will be in perpetuity, always there.
Why are they going to shave my head when I die, Stu?
I don't know. Isn't that what they do when you shave your head? I don't know.
I don't know what you think they do. Can you imagine if I wanted an open casket? It's like, let's preserve Bradley just as they were. And they'll go in and they'll go, why have they shaved their head?
I think that's a really good point. I think you should tattoo...
Why have they got Stu's head on their head?
Exactly, yeah. You've made a really good point. I think you should tattoo my face on top of your face, and then you don't have to worry about the head shaving.
It'd be like a budget straight-to-DVD version of Face Off.
Yeah, face on. Yeah.
Yeah. Be like, if I do you in all the right colours, right, so your face is in all the right colours. You know the original CGI with the witch who changed, like the woman who changes to a witch because they changed the colour filter? It's brilliant. But if you know anything about like special effects, one of the best first ever special in-camera effects, they got this woman. She's all like old and everything, but she looks normal. And then she turns to the camera, takes off a wig, and her face changes to a hag, like a proper witch. And it's all done using colour filters. So they paint a certain colour on her face, so it only shows under a certain colour filter. We could do that with a tattoo of your face on my face, and then just change colour filters.
Oh, that sounds genius. We've got to do this now, haven't we? Got to.
Okay, I'll set up a Kickstarter or a GoFundMe. It'll be my only ever successful one because people want to see your face tattooed on my face under a certain light.
I think that's what everybody wants to see, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what we all want in life, isn't it?
It is.
Screw the homeless, screw cancer victims. What we really want is Stu's face on my face.
That sounds a bit rude, but yeah, no, that's definitely what we want.
Yeah, I don't even know how to segue from that. So, video games, Stu.
Yeah, it's probably just best bin that off and let's get going.
I don't know how to segue. Hey, good luck finding titles. We might have said the title already. Who knows? Might come later. Anyway, what you been playing, Stu?
Well, first off, I've been playing a little game. It has only had a little bit of a ripple in the public consciousness. It's Vampire Survivors. So, yeah, fairly well known. But I've been playing something new to it, a DLC called Operation Guns, which is a Contra-themed DLC, which is interesting. And yeah, Contra. I've never been like a massive Contra fan.
Apparently, nor of Konami.
Hey, yeah, too right. They seem like determined to bury that franchise as hard as they can and as fast as they can. But yeah, I thought it was all right. I've never been a big fan of those run and guns where you rotate the gun. I've always found them a bit awkward. I quite enjoyed it on the SNES because me and my mate played it in 2-player, split screen, classic couch co-op, and that was good because you had the triggers for rotating the gun as well, which you could use and lock them in place. It was really good. Anyway, this is just a tangent really because the DLC hasn't got any of that anyway because it's just Vampire Survivors with a kind of Contra skin really. There's a couple of tweaks to it and there's probably more to come, but I've not got that far into it because, well, a couple of reasons. One, predictably, a lot of stuff's locked behind a lot of playtime, but also when I went back to Vampire Survivors, all my progress had been wiped, so they must have done like a day 1 star reset at some point since I last played it because none of my items were unlocked. It showed that I'd been like playing for like 17 hours in the past, but nothing that I'd unlocked was unlocked, so that was a bit of a bummer. Anyway,
yeah, that is a bit of a bummer.
Yeah, it was. But anyway, base game.
It's a good game.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's nice to replay it to get that stuff again, but it does mean, I think, that it's slowed down my progress with other stuff with the DLC. But anyway, it looks nice. It's just more Vampire Survivors with a couple of tweaks. So obviously, like, the sprites are different and they're really good. They've all been done in the Vampire Survivors style, but they're recognisably Contra. There's pickups around the level that are done in a different way, in a more classic kind of shoot 'em up way than they are done in a Vampire Survivors style. It's nice. It's like £1.50 or something like that. If you just want a little bit more Vampire Survivors, then drop a couple of quid and it's yours. And
it's literally I think it's £2. Yeah, it's £2. Well, £1.99, which I think officially makes it more expensive than most people paid for the original game originally.
Yeah, it will be.
But the original game was like £1.59, weren't it, when it first came out?
It was ludicrous.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm actually really good with it. I don't know what it is now, Vampire Survivors. We'll have a quick look what you have to pay now. You have to pay a ridiculous $3.99 now for Vampire Survivors.
Oof.
Double in price. But do you know what? I'm okay with a developer doing that, releasing something cheap to start with, and if it does well, then putting the price up. Because, again, it rewards those who took a chance. I'm okay with that.
Gotcha, yeah.
Or I'm okay with, if you buy this game at the normal price in the first month, thank you very much. What we will actually give you is all future DLC or whatever we do for free. Anyone who buys it after this for whatever, they have to pay for the season passes or the DLC or whatever. Reward your gamers. Don't punish the ones who pick up early. So I'm okay with it. I know it's a tangent on this, but like £2 for this. I think you can buy like the entire pack, like for hang on, let me do this, for £3, no, £4.48. I think for the entire bundle. Or you ready for this? You can buy the sorry, I've got to do this. The Contra / Vampire Survivors bundle, right? For $26.80.
Wow.
Right, which includes Vampire Survivors, the Vampire Survivors Operation Guns Contra DLC, right, and Contra Operation Galuga.
Right.
Which is $27.99.
All right. So there's a
and apparently it's pretty decent. But I mean, come on.
Oh dear me. Yeah, that's a little bit off, but yeah, it's I mean, there's not much more to say really. It's fine. It's good. If you want more Vampire Survivors, then go for it.
Yeah, from what I understand and from what I've read from people, the characters have got some pretty unique abilities, and some of the weapons are really interesting to use as well. But it begs the question, Stu, what would you like to see? If you could have a dream DLC pack for Vampire Survivors, what would it be?
Ooh, God, what's got a lot of good...
You're not allowed to say Castlevania because that gets everywhere.
Yeah, it's already Castlevania, so that would be a bit ridiculous. I reckon some sort of Metroid one might be quite good, because it would give good inspiration for the backgrounds, I think, more than the characters even. And you could have good things about, areas of the level being kind of locked, or, you unlock different abilities that get you through different sections. You could have a play around with that. That might be quite good.
Yeah, I was going, right, for me, stick with Capcom. Okay, because they don't care, right? That would change it up a bit, add a bit of a fog of war to everything. And I'm thinking, right? There's two. There's another one I'll come to, but one, Silent Hill.
Ah, good shout.
You could do it, right? Pyramid Head becomes your big bosses and stuff like that. That'd be really good. But you actually only get a limited view, so there's really everything's foggy around you, but not like thick fog, so you can't see anything, but it's just it just gets thicker and thicker the further out you go, so your vision gets limited, so you're not quite sure where to go and stuff like that. Go with the real spirit of the original Silent Hill, with you could have some really sort of low-key weapons and just change the gameplay up. The other one I think could be really good would be a Lemmings themed DLC. Don't know what character you'd be, but you just mow down tons, just a purely fun outland. It's just mow down tons of lemmings, And just all you get is constantly going, oh no! It's just brilliant. They're my two that I would really love to see.
Yeah, I like that. I like that idea. That's good. Yeah, I always think in terms of like, what would be good for shooty stuff, and I forget to do something just completely stupid and, a lot of fun.
And you know the best thing about Vampire Survivors? If they did that and it was shit, it only cost about £1, £2, so it don't really matter.
Precisely. Yeah. Good stuff.
So there you go, Mr. Vampire Survivors, people. Who's already... I don't know how much you've heard from that. I'd love to see Vampire Survivors. I'm glad he's done really well. They've done really well. Same with Balatro for the developers. I love stories like this, especially in the current climate of video games.
I know, right? Yeah,
which I'm going to avoid talking about. Going to avoid talking about them, not them, the whole thing, like just the bad AAA stuff, because that'll take too long.
Fair play.
Anyway, I've also been playing a video game, unsurprisingly, which is interesting because do you remember when the big, lovely, we loved them so much, Ubisoft, brought out that Viking sword fighting game? I can't remember what it was called. For Honor?
I don't remember, but yeah, I trust you.
They did. Yeah, they brought out, it was a sword fighting game. It's going to be like, it's realistic. And do you know what? At the time, it was before we realised how scummy they were. I gave it a go and I was like, it's fun. And then it was like pure, but online and DLC and upgrades and season passes and free to play, but you pay £70 to get the game, whatever. It was all of that. But the concept was good. I always went, do you know what would be really good? Is if a indie got hold of this and done something with it. Nidhogg isn't that. Nidhogg's its own thing, and it's brilliant. I love Nidhogg, the original Nidhogg. Don't like Nidhogg too. But anyway, going off tangent. There's a game just come out this week called Die by the Blade, which isn't, as I thought it might be. I thought, this could be like a roguelike dice game. It's not. It's not a roguelike dice game at all. No, it's a one-on-one combat fighting game using swords that has one-hit kills. But I love a one-hit kill because generally in life, I don't know how many times it's happened to you, Stu, but if someone stabs you in the face with a sword, you die. Did you know that?
I have done that in the past, yeah.
Like, video games lie to us. They say you can be stabbed in the face at least 4 times, and if you run away, you can come back. Can't do that in real life.
No, it's unfair.
But that's what makes video games fun. Okay, that's what makes video games fun. And the idea of something's having this, like, if you get caught by this thing that would kill you in real life, you're dead in real life, can be poor. Here, it works. I think a sword fighting game where it wants you to be all about technique, defence, attack, etc., is really, really good. So you go in, it's 1v1 in this, like, stroke... that Street Fighter S2D, 3D environment, so you can move side to side. Not Street Fighter anymore, more... what's the other one? Dead. No, not Dead.
Dead or Alive?
Yes, Dead or Alive, yeah, where it's, it's 2D play, but you can move around and Tekken, that kind of thing. So you're in that kind of environment, loads of lush environments and everything, but it's you versus another person. You each get X amount of lives, and you sword fight. And basically, you kill. And what's really good, it's all about making sure you've got your stances right, your defences right. So you might try and block different types of attacks from the opponent, and then you might look, right, I can get a block up high, but because there's an animation frame or two for him to come back, for the opponent to come back down to a stance, you might have an opening to then drive. If you defended correctly and got the right parry in, you can parry and then drive the sword into their gut, and that's you've won that round. And then miraculously, video games comes back to life and it goes again because it's video games. That'd be really boring if once you've killed off a character just with one hit, that's it, they'll wipe from the game. Although an interesting concept if you had like millions of characters. See how long it can take you to kill as many characters as possible. But anyway, in this context, you don't obviously want to just kill your character and then, game over. You've killed all the characters. You can't ever play this game. You don't want that. So you get 3 lives. So to come back to life and you do it all again. It's difficult. I first started playing and went, I don't like this at all. This is really, it's just too difficult. And then the more I played, the more I realised you can't approach this game like a any other fighter. You can't approach it like a fighting game. So it's not all about, let's learn their moves and then I know if I do this attack, I'm going to attack this, because you could go in for an attack, but they could change their stance. It's all about button combos in terms of, like, you press, like, up for an upwards defense or upwards slash, down for a down, like for downwards, and there's different combos to change from a horizontal to a vertical attack, and so all different things like that. And obviously the defences have to match kind of what they're doing. So you can have a round where you might just get lucky and go wham, straight in the middle, dead, first hit. You might have a round that's like a lot of like defending and they're defending, staying away from each other. That's a very important thing you learn, is staying away as well, and gap control, which again, probably people who play Street Fighter professionally go, yeah, well, that's all standard, Brad, what are you talking about? But I don't, like, for me, there's no danger, like, I've got in too close, I've taken a bit of damage, I can come back out. Here, it's all about the danger of you make one mistake, you're going to get done. And I really, really like that idea. The problem is, I don't think the controls are quite as intuitive as they could be. And the tutorial could do with a bit of work. So it wants to teach me on one part of it that you should be pressing this combo, this combo, this combo to pass the tutorial. I'm doing it, and it's going, no, but this is what we want you to do. I'm going, yeah, that's what I'm doing. And the game's going, nah, you're not. And I'm going, I clearly am. This is exactly what I'm doing. I've been doing this for the last half an hour. And the game's going, nah, that's not how we want it done, mate. And I don't know if it's a bug or whether it's just that I'm crap or whether the game's bad at explaining. It's one of those three. So I jibbed that off. I understood enough of the game. What's like, there's combos you can do. So I went, screw the tutorial. Went in. And there's like 1v1 against the AI, or there's online stuff there. It's mainly an online 1v1 game, but there is offline stuff. And you can do against the AI or local 1v1 against a friend. We should play this, Stu. I'll invite you on and we'll do local online co-op. It's really fun.
Ooh, nice.
I'd be interested to know how this works online, because I think so much depends on lag on this. It'll live or die by its netcode. I think, but yeah, traditional Japanese stuff going on. But I usually play these games and go, I suck, I'm done. I've got probably about 30 over the years different fighting games that are various different like hooks, whether it's weapons or whatever, that I've tried and gone, I'm really bad at this beyond this first opponent. I'm done now. This has me going, no, I want to improve at this. I've got to improve. It's got a tournament mode. I'm not good enough for the tournament mode yet, so I'm happy to see practice mode and stuff. And I think for a game that keeps you going, even though you're not good at it, because you want to get better at it, that speaks volumes to me. But yeah, it's really good. Die by the Blade. I don't know how much it's going to be when it comes out, because as we're recording, it's due out tomorrow. As you listen, it's already out. If this is around the £10 to £20 mark, you're laughing, I think. There's plenty to do now. There is offline. It's not the most in-depth online. It is designed mainly for playing with friends or online. But they thought about everything. And my assumption from what I played before, when I first played that, to what I've played of other games that have tried to do this is really, really good. Just a little bit of polishing in places, maybe.
All right, yeah. So it seems it's one of those that they, developers come round to every few years, isn't it? That instant kill, instant death thing, and by the sword. It's like Bushido Blade, I think, is the only one I've ever really played, I think.
I couldn't get on with that for whatever reason, but for this, I think it's just more tactical. I'll talk about it another time, but like, I've got tactical boxing, which again tries to be realistic in terms of its mechanics rather than its presentation and stuff like that, and gets it right for me. This is another one where it looks lovely in places, but it does also can look a little bit, let's say, late PS3, early PS4 era visually.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing. It's gone gameplay over visuals, and I'm fine with that. It's really good. If it's my only thing I would say, if it's in the right price bracket, pick it up. That's all I'll say. For me, anywhere under £20, I think it's a no-brainer if you like fighting games.
Marvellous. Yeah, I think might have to invest in that one.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll have a go, Stu, because just on a quick aside, there's a new plugin for the Steam Deck that allows you to do what's that thing you do, like they do, where you can invite someone to play locally, remote play anywhere or something.
Oh, right, yeah.
Well, there's a plugin now that allows you to basically do that for anything on your Steam Deck. So it's not just, you can only do it with these Steam-enabled games. I tried it. You could do it with, like, I've got Pro Evo modded, a modded version of Pro Evo called Football Life 24, which is completely, it's nothing to do with Steam at all, and it works with that. It works with MU Deck and all of that. So if you've got Sonic 2, the greatest multiplayer game ever released, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and you do want to do the local multiplayer races, I can invite you onto my Steam Deck using that, and we can just play as though we're in the same room. So we'll give this one a go. So before you do buy it, Stu, I invite you virtually into my bed, and we can try Die by the Blade.
Won't it be a bit
by
weird?
The blade,
though?
I mean my penis. No.
And also, I'll be looking back at my face because you've got my face tattooed on your face, so that's going to be very weird.
Oh God, yeah, yeah. It would be weird.
Yeah. We should try it out though, see how it goes.
Yes, we'll do that. If you've got a spare evening, we'll talk about this after show. We don't want to do logistics during the show. We've done that before, and I don't think that's the best content.
Nah, safety words and stuff. Yeah.
What's next from you?
So, my next one is a very curious game. Very curious. Not as curious as our conversation, but it's curious anyway.
Curious as George?
Yeah, probably. Probably curiouser than George. So, that's quite curious. It's a game of, you remember when I was talking about how I love liminal spaces? So the spaces basically between places. They're not designed to be a destination. They're just the journey kind of thing. And I have a very weird kind of love of liminal space. Well, there's a game that's basically liminal space traversal, and also it's a kind of a dream, and it's called Pools. So like swimming pools.
Okay, yeah. Let's listen to this because I'll go while I've said that in a minute. Let's listen to you first.
Right. Okay. So it's like a walking simulator, or I can't remember what else. What do they call them? Experiential RPG. I don't know what they call them.
Walking sim.
Yeah, it's a walking
everyone
sim.
knows walking sim.
It is. There's
You've already used too many big words.
Yeah.
Liminal.
But no, it's got very very kind of very 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 minimal interaction. It's basically is just walking, and you're walking around pools, unsurprisingly, and you start off and it's essentially like walking around very posh swimming baths, and it's got lovely tiling and lovely water effects, and as you go on it gets more and more kind of that's not where it should be kind of thing. So the whole thing is kind of very dreamlike. So obviously in dreams you very often have things that would never be pushed together or put in proximity. Suddenly they are, and it's an.
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt a sec. Remind me after you speak about it to tell you about my dream.
Okay, I will do. It's very much like that. So the scale of things is can be vast or far too small for what it's doing. Items that shouldn't be next to each other or shouldn't appear next in the next room. Appear repetition of things. So there's one section, there's like saunas, and it's just sauna after a sauna after sauna for millennia. So what's the point of it? Well, there's not much of a point to it. It is a really experiential game. So it's just like, what do you feel? What emotions does it elicit when you're walking around it? So it helps that it's gorgeous. I think it's mostly using sort of assets that already existed, as I understand it. So I don't think many have been created for the game. I think they're using existing assets. But all that means is that it looks phenomenal. It looks really, really good. Lovely reflection effects, great sense of atmosphere. It doesn't overdo it on the audio. It keeps it, minimal as well. there aren't any jump scares, there aren't any monsters. It's just done in such a way that you get absorbed into the atmosphere of it. It doesn't have a narrative, so it's not anything that you're going to go, right, okay, well, I've got to grab this. I mean, I did, because it's liminal spaces. But it's one of those that if you're into that kind of thing, and I'm not going into much detail about what you see because I don't want to ruin that for people, because there's not a lot to see in a way, but what you do see is what will have the impact. But yeah, I really, really liked it. I thought it was a really nice change of pace. It's a really good way of going, oh God, yeah, I've had dreams like that. Oh, blimey, kind of thing. And really making you think back and feel. So yeah, an unusual one and a recommendation from me.
So the reason that you had me, first of all, I'll come to the... Have I told you about my dream about Billy Kennedy from Neighbours yet?
I can't remember. Is that the one where you had it every night for a week or whatever?
No, right, this is different. This includes a rat with a chicken head. So we'll get there in a minute. But the reason I went, okay, when you said pause, is I take it you're aware of what the back rooms are.
Actually, no, I don't know what that is.
No, right. So the back rooms is this thing that's doing the rounds. It's one of those urban horror type things where people find like these weird rooms, like vast areas that are like abandoned buildings, and it's like, oh, this shouldn't be here, and they walk around them, and it's spooky, or it's meant to be spooky, but it's just boring. And there's games that have been inspired by, well, I say games, there's asset flips that have been inspired by them. For whatever reason, they're usually like overwhelmingly positive on Steam, because I don't know how they do it. They're crap, but they get overwhelmingly positive reviews for asset flips. And there's some that look okay. There's one called, like, I think Exit 8, what's actually got an element of strategy to it, where you've got to get to the 8th exit, but to do it, you've got to find the right exit there's things change with each corridor you go down. You've got to find the right corridors that haven't had a change to it, which is interesting, but not for me. And when I first saw the visuals for this, I went, oh God, it's another Backrooms game, which is going to try and be scary, but it's not scary, especially as it's down as a psychological horror as well. And I was just like, But it's interesting to know that it's, in terms of just being, as I said, a liminal space and something to not relax in, but release yourself in and let yourself go in. I'm willing to give it a go. Have you played it on Steam Deck?
Yeah, I did. It struggles a bit, to be honest, because it is a very good-looking game, but it's doable. It's doable.
I might give it a go. I'm going to add it to the wish list right now. If that drops below £4, I'll pick it up.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. It's I'm glad, like you were saying about potentially rewarding people who got in early. I'm glad to be one of the early adopters. And push it forward a bit, but I would recommend for most people just waiting for it to be a bit cheaper.
Fair enough. So before I move on to my game, very quickly, I'll give you the quick version of the dream. So, do you know Billy Kennedy from Neighbours?
I do. He was in House for years.
He was in House, and he's in some kind of fire crew show, Chicago Fire now, or whatever it's called, or something like that. Okay. Anyway, because it pops up on TikTok now and again. Anyway, yeah, everyone knows him because he tried to bang Helen Daniels. That's all everyone really knows about him. If you've never watched House, that's the main thing. Oh, that one, yeah, the one who tried to bang Helen Daniels. Anyway,
that's the important thing.
He doesn't come into it quite yet.
Right.
Okay. So in my dream, I don't know what it came about. I was watching this documentary in my dream about a woman who lived with her pet mice. But she had one mouse in particular that was a little bit bigger, and it had like free roam of the house and everything, and was able to like travel with her and stuff. And she goes and gets in the shower, and the mouse climbs up, and he's got his little hole that he climbs into in the door, and he can sit in. But he goes and joins her in the shower and stuff like that. Well, not a dirty dream or anything like that. But he goes and joins her, and he's like, and then he's kind of sits on her shoulder, and then all of a sudden it zooms in the dream, and on his tail he's got like this weird vulture-y chicken head on his tail, on the end of his tail, and then with that it bites her arm, and then the camera goes, like this documentary that I'm watching goes, oh, how did this happen? And it goes like, and there's these people, they've got this mouse that they've captured, and they go and capture this weird bird thing, which I can't quite describe, but all I can say, it looks like a vulture chicken they capture, and then they go to Billy Kennedy, and they go, Billy, we need you to do what you do with these two animals. So what Billy Kennedy does is he takes the mouse and holds it down and lops off the end of its tail. Don't know why he needs to lop off the end of its tail, because the thing's going on the end of its tail, but he lops off the end of its tail. He takes this weird chicken bird thing, which is screaming in pain, and he lops off its head, and then he gets them and he gets his feet and he glues them together and does this amalgamation, and they're both somehow still alive, and then he presents it back to these people, and they manage to get the chicken head thing to not be visible to this woman when she goes into the pet shop and she buys the mouse, and then for about 5 to 10 years or whatever it is in the dream, they live together in harmony. I don't know how long mice live, it's definitely not 5 to 10 years. And then he's all like, it's all great, and then it goes back to the documentary where it turns on her and it bites her and she turns into one, and then it spreads out across the world. That was my dream. What does that mean, Stu?
It probably means you should be sectioned, I think. Yeah.
It's like, I know when people go, oh, no one's dreams are interesting, like everyone's dreams are boring, but there's something weird about my dreams, Stu.
That is definitely a cut above or below. I'm not sure which is the most appropriate.
Yeah. I don't have, like, I do have like normal dreams and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. Like, but this is where I'm freaked out. Like, that should technically wake me up in a cold sweat. It doesn't. It doesn't. It's the same as horror films and games don't get me anymore. Don't get scared.
You're sort of over yourself. You're over your own weird brain. Is that right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Anyway, much ado about nothing. So the pools, it's worth picking up for some people if you like that sort of thing. Get it. If not, wait for a sale.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's it in a nutshell.
Excellent. The pools thought it might be weird. Anyway, I've been playing. But I had to go back to normal, so I've been playing a strategy-based roguelike single-player game with pixel graphics, Stu.
And what's that?
The Land Beneath Us.
Okay.
Now, we've had Norse mythology, okay? We've had Slavic mythology, Greek mythology, I would say, nearly saying mythology, Ron. Okay, we've had all the different types of mythologies. One I don't remember seeing in video games yet is something based on Welsh mythology.
Yeah, no, neither do I.
No, there might be, but nothing sticks out to me. Land Beneath Us is basically it's a turn-based strategy game, and it's got lots of elements from Welsh mythology. This is not me knowing that. This is me reading about that when I was reading the gump about the game. Okay, so I know nothing about Welsh mythology. I do apologise to our Cymru neighbours. I will say it right. There you go.
Cymru.
Look, I'm trying. Okay, I'm trying.
Yeah.
They can appreciate that. I'm not just going to call them Wales. They don't like to be called Welsh or Wales anymore. They want to be Cymru. So that's what we will do. Not hard, is it? Anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's based in Welsh mythology, Cymru mythology. But take it out of it. Story's interesting enough. I'm not going to go into the story-based stuff because, again, I like the idea of people finding that out for themselves. But basically, this is kind of trying to describe it. I want to say it's a little bit Crypt of the Necro Dancer, but not with the rhythm aspect and not as like real time. So like you move and you get these bits around you can do based on different combos in the way you move. And they do different attacks to whatever's on the corresponding squares. So it's like you got a shockwave one where if you move in a certain direction, it will create a shockwave on a certain square. If there's an enemy on that square, it will be attacked. Obviously, if you move and you don't create an attack square, then you're in trouble. It's the same as like bosses and stuff like that, and it all changes up the gameplay. It's not easy by any stretch of the imagination. It's really, really difficult. But But there's loads of different weapons upgrades. So if you've played Dead Cells, and like you'll get an understanding of the way the weapon upgrades and progression is. Like you come across a new weapon, it's like, oh, do you want this one or do you want to keep your old one? This is the difference between the two. You can carry X amount in different slots, that kind of thing. But yeah, you move across these different dungeons, and yeah, basically avoid or attack enemies. And there's a story to progress through. And it's just, yeah, it's interesting. It's not the best of these I've ever played. I don't think it's one I'm going to be in and out of constantly, but it's interesting and it's trying to do something different. It's like someone saw a couple of games and went, these weren't for me, what can I do for it? They've tried their own thing. They've not hit a home run, but to use a baseball terminology, I would say they've managed to get a nice deep field hit into second base. It's solid, right? It's not scoring runs, but it's enough to get something set up. For the baseball analogy. I don't know why I've got baseball analogy there at all. But, you know, what's rounders? Because, you know, it's Kunrai mythology. So we'll go rounders. Don't, Stu.
Well, it's funny. I thought, oh, well, I wonder if... Yeah, I had a look, and Fair Play Studios are the developer, and I thought, oh, I wonder if they're based in Wales then. No, Bangkok, Thailand. So, no, that's what
Fair enough.
Yeah. But
they probably looked around and went, there's nothing goes on in Thailand or this area of the world that we can use. Where can we go?
Yeah, hardly any inspiration to draw on. But yeah, no, that's really interesting. I mean, yeah, I live in Wales now, and yeah, it's good to have.
Do you know what? I really thought you was about to say I live in Thailand now. When you said Wales, it just took me for a second. I know you live in Wales. I don't know why when you didn't say Thailand. I don't know. But you see, if you're looking at it, do you see what I mean by the it's a bit Crypt of the Necro Dancer, but not.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's good that it's a mashup. You can't just keep doing the same things over and over again. It's nice to see.
But you can't. But I don't want anyone going into it going, I'll play this like Crypt of the Necro Dancer, because you really don't. You really don't. It's a lot slower than that, and it's a lot more methodical. But it's just that movement just reminded me of Crypt of the Necro Dancer, which when I first played it, I went, "Oh God, this is going to be something I really struggle to get my head around, like those games." But no, movement matters, but it's much slower, turn based. Yeah, it's really, really good.
Yeah, it really sounds it. Yeah, it's on the wish list.
Excellent, do it. Again, prices. It's out now and it's like $12.79, or it's got like a discount at the moment. It's about right. If you like these sort of games, I think definitely it's worth it at that price. Again, if it's something I don't know about, maybe wait for a deeper sale down the line. But yeah, my initial impressions, I like it. Whether I'll play it long term remains to be seen, because there are better games in the genre that I do like more. But if I fancy something different, I think it's what I will pop back to now and again. And Dear Villagers, as the publisher, have got a really good hit rate at the moment with games. So they're one of the good guy publishers.
Good. There are vanishingly few of them, so that's good news.
Definitely. But yeah, no, that's it from me. Yeah, I've got nothing else to say. I'm out, Stu. I'm going to shut up now. Unless you've got anything. Do you want anything? I'm going to let you have a word in if you really want to say something.
Cheers. That's really, yeah very good. So I'm only going to mention very briefly that I've been playing Helldivers 2. I've managed to get into that and get a copy. I don't know why I say that. It's not difficult.
Do they have PSN in Thailand?
Yeah, that's where I live. So
there's your title.
Exactly. PSN in Thailand. But yeah, so yeah, they've backed off on that, haven't they? Which is a good idea. But I can't really talk about the game yet because I've not played it long enough. But I can talk about how terrible it is on Steam Deck. So I've like looked at a few YouTube videos and stuff and looked up some web pages to get the best settings. But even with like the very best stuff that you can possibly put in there and lowering the frame rate and having low graphic settings, it's still a bit of a dog. And it's like genuinely quite tough to play because the draw distance is really bad no matter what you do. It's really pixelated unless you go for like putting the anti-aliasing on, in which case it's really smeary. It just basically looks pretty terrible, and all of the HUD elements are way too small. You can barely see what it's saying. It's like obviously not got Steam Deck in mind whatsoever, which is understandable as it came out, you know, it was PS5 basically and just ported to the PC. So all I was going to say was, you know, even if you are thinking about it on Steam Deck, don't. I wouldn't honestly would not recommend it for Steam Deck. But it seems good so far, but I'll talk about the game itself more sort of next week, I think.
Yeah, I was close, so I'm glad to hear it's terrible. On Steam Deck, I'm not going to bother then at all. I will remove it from the wish list, because it's one of those I'm going, I want to, but I'm not going to play it much. But if I get some hours out of it, it'll be good. So, but good to hear it's not very good on Steam Deck, and I can remove that from the wish list.
Yeah, I would say definitely. Unless you've got no other options whatsoever, don't do it.
I've got the original Helldivers, in all fairness, if I really wanted to play it.
It's so good, that game. It really is.
I really like that. It's just a shame it's just so broken single player in terms of like scaling.
True. Yep. And that's
anyway.
Yeah, that's me.
I'm going to shut up now. You can shut up now because you spoke way too long at the end there, Stu.
Sorry, I do apologise. It is very, very selfish of me. Yeah. But yeah, so as usual, follow us on all the socials. Check out all of our content on the various social media platforms. If you fancy chatting, you can join us on Discord and talk about any subject you like, including games and mental health, but not limited to those. And apart from that, until next time, stay safe and stay sane.
Ooh, I could crush a grape. Jump off a doll's house, I can pop a balloon. Ooh, I could rip a tissue.